All right, what's going on, everybody? Josh with the Arrowhead Kingdom Chiefs cast back here again with Billy Truelove from podcast 1558. We finished our regular season picks against the spread. We only missed a couple of weeks there. I ended up being victorious against the mantle that he took up and handed the baton off to Chris and Brian, among others. Matt picked a couple weeks. But anyway, ended up winning by 3 games, 123 to 115 to 120. 118, which means that none of us lost money if we bet the same on every single game, which is really, I think, the most impressive part of all of
that. Yep.
And obviously, I don't think anybody that would be going out to bet on games is doing every single game every single week. That wouldn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, no.
I mean, every week we even got in and talked about how there were games we wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, plenty of those.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I guess before we jump into picking the playoff games this weekend, what are your thoughts on the season overall?
A month and a half into the season, I wanted it to end. I just wanted to get the season over with. I felt like this team needed a whole other training camp to get right because it was real easy to jump on the defense right away. But to me, the problem with the offense pretty much from the jump. I thought it was just weird, which, if I go back to my preseason notes, I was trying to tell myself, we're going to have to give this offensive line until the bye week. This is not something 5 new dudes are going to get together in 4 or 5 games. I was looking at week 12 was the bye, get us at week 13, and there'd be no more excuses at that point. They came together a little sooner than that. But all in all, I think most Chiefs fans feel a little underwhelmed with the way this offense has produced. There has been certain games against really bad defenses that we have just done whatever we wanted to do, like against Vegas, like against Cincinnati. But it's been an incredible season to say that things have turned the way they did for us to win the division. 6 straight division titles is so hard to accomplish when you're not in the AFC East and you're Tom Brady. This is not that. I mean, I feel like this has always been a pretty competitive division. So to win 6 straight is nuts. But I think also most Chiefs fans agree it's where this team has been for 3 years straight now. If it ain't the Super Bowl, it's a letdown. So just don't know where I'm at in feeling that so confident that we're just going to go get a ring this year.
Yep. So, I mean, I definitely watched the roller coaster at the same time that you did. And I remember at the beginning of the beginning of the season and the preseason, my commentary is this defense is going to be borderline really good. They could be a top 10 defense, and I expected the Chiefs to kind of roll. They ended up being that good of a defense. It just took a long time to get there. I pretty much avoided the Fire Spags bandwagon. I seriously considered getting on it after that Titans game. But I've always been a big believer that the Bears have been noted that they've never fired a coach in the middle of the season. I personally believe that nothing good ever comes of that. Yeah. And you don't make a midseason change because you're not replacing anything with anything, and you can't just fire your defensive coordinator because you're pissed at the results that are on the field. It's not going to get any better. The exception is if you have a situation like Gruden where you just absolutely have to make a move, or like Urban Meyer where you absolutely have to make a move. Thankfully, the Hunt family has never put the Chiefs in a position where something like that's necessary, from what I can remember. Yeah. So you can get through the season. But yeah, I always thought that was a little bit of an early reaction, and that the Chiefs could get stuff right. And full disclosure, I put a bet on them to win the Super Bowl when they were 3-4.
Nice.
And I already have flights and hotel booked to Tennessee for the last weekend of this month. So that's where my head's at. I've always considered myself a sports optimist, and a loss doesn't necessarily stick with me for a really extended period of time. Got to admit that if they would, for God forbid, some reason, fumble against the Steelers this weekend, that would probably hit me pretty hard. But
absolutely.
but yeah, I mean, it's just I've got the utmost confidence in the Chiefs making it out of the AFC, and I just kind of look at this as look at some of the seasons in the NCAA basketball tournament where you've got all this there's not a really elite team, and so forth, and we're gonna have a lot of chaos, and there's gonna be a lot of upsets, and you see that, but at the end, Duke wins it.
Yeah, you're right. The top is the top.
Yeah. And that ticks me off as a Jayhawk fan, but this has a very just kind of chalky feel to the season, and the Chiefs are definitely chalk, and there's really 4 teams that I think set themselves above the rest of the league, and it's the 1 and 2 seeds in each of the two conferences. So it's where
I don't think there's any way in hell that AFC Championship game is in Tennessee.
Sure.
I think it's in Kansas. I will say I like the odds of it being in Kansas City more than Tennessee being around at that point. They are, since we've played them, we've gone this direction. They have gone this direction. And they have not gotten as better at all. They've only gotten worse. And now you're getting Derrick Henry back, but whatever. We'll see what happens. He hasn't played. The running game hasn't been horrible. So I don't think they're going to get this big boost. Right now, the boost that team is missing is what they thought they were going to get with Julio Jones. It's just not, he hadn't done anything. And I think that is in part of just the team that he's on, the style that it is, and his age. That's the way it is. The guy hasn't been able to stay healthy for a couple of years now, and it is what it is. But yeah, let's break down this postseason and see where we end up.
Yeah, all right. So let's get into the first game. We'll just do these in order. So the first game this Saturday, we have 3:30 Central on NBC. Sorry, we have the Raiders, who I was calling to win that Week 7 or that Week 18 game, but outside of that, I can't say that I picked them to do anything. I just thought that the Raiders and Derek Carr had a better chance of winning that game than the Chargers not messing anything up. So the Chargers out-chargered the Raiders, trying to out-Raider themselves. So we have Raiders going to Cincinnati, a team I am not surprised to see in the playoffs. I actually just got off a call with a guy I know from Cincinnati, and I think that they end all these memes of, nobody's ever sent a text message about a Bengal playoff win, stuff like that. I think that ends. They've had 7 cracks to end it. This to me feels like the one. So the Bengals are favored at home by 5.5 at Paul Brown Stadium over the Raiders. Do you see this going any way other than a Bengals win by at least a touchdown?
No, I think, Vegas may score a couple points here and there. They may put 17 up. I think it'll be just like the last time they played. They're going to get shellacked. The weakness of that Raiders team faces the strength of Cincinnati, and that is exactly what they did to us. I mean, Jamar Chase can just take a game over. There were times, Burrow could not miss. They get locked in like that at all, which they don't even have to. They don't have to get locked in like that to beat the Raiders. I'm with you. They win by multiple scores.
Got it. All right. Next game that night, the night game. I'm honestly surprised to see this as the night game. The Bills and Patriots. I thought that would get a little more prime time of a treatment, but here we are. The schedule's a schedule. So we have the Patriots going to the Bills. The Bills are 4-point favorites in, I guess they're calling it Highmark Stadium, Bill Stadium, whatever it is. But yeah, so we have the Bills favored by 4. I'm thinking the Bills win by at least that. I think this Patriots team is, getting exposed as a year away, and that's just where we're at.
I'm with you. I think, their first meeting was very fluky. That ain't going to happen again. It'll be much more like the second game. Yeah, I like Buffalo by 10.
Yep, got it. All right, so then we have the noon game on Sunday, which is the Eagles going to the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are favored by 8.5. That seems like a low spread. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom Brady's gonna
Kill
pistol
them.
whip the Eagles in Raymond James Stadium.
Hey, but if there's anything I'm with you. I got Tampa Bay by 100. But if there's any way Vegas and Philly can come out with some wins this weekend, oh my God.
It'd be hilarious.
Oh my God.
It'd be hilarious. But yeah, okay. So we're pretty aligned right now. Here's a place where I'm wondering how we're gonna come out on this. This is what pretty much everybody's calling the most interesting, compelling game of the weekend. This is the going back to our basketball reference, this is the 12-5 upset that everybody's picking. So we have the Niners going to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are favored by 3, which is the equivalent of not being favored at all. This is a betting line pick'em game. So where are you going on this one?
Maybe this is where we get different. I think San Francisco is it's a bad draw for Dallas. I think that they can bore you to death with that run game and find a big play on defense. And I don't think that offense makes a ton of mistakes. They're not going to turn the ball over a ton. I know Trayvon Diggs, he does find the ball, and this is the type of quarterback that could put some things in some questionable areas if they're playing from behind. But I don't know. I think I'm picking San Francisco here.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to end up bowing in unceremonious fashion. I just don't think it's going to happen this week. I mean, I understand where everybody's coming from, saying the Niners are a horrible matchup and the team nobody wants to play. Let's keep in mind that the team that does the exact same thing that was supposed to be in the AFC playoffs is the Colts, and they went out and just completely fell apart. My comment in a column that I wrote this week was that the Chargers should be ashamed of themselves for not getting Herbert into the playoffs. I think that the Colts should disappear into the forest and never come back. That was how bad not closing the deal against the team that has the number 1 pick in the draft. I mean, they just didn't show up for that game at all. Yeah. And, everybody's expecting the Niners to go in and cause all these problems for Dallas. I mean, let's keep in mind, this is still a team that had to win the last day of the season to get in.
Yeah.
And I just honestly think that we're going to ultimately find out this is much ado about nothing. And the Cowboys are definitely known for beating up on their division, but pretty much playing above 500 against the rest of the league. The Niners seem like a team that's a win against the rest of the league. I think they bow out later, but not this week. Then let's get into the game that we care the most about. So the 7:15 Sunday night game, getting the primetime spot it deserves. Monday would have been cooler, but we get the primetime game. It's our Kansas City Chiefs, and we are hosting the Steelers once again. They are favored by 12.5. We have Big Ben playing mind games, saying that he doesn't care about this game. Mike Tomlin,
we suck. We're going to lose.
And blah, blah, blah. The thing that I think is interesting is the Chiefs are favored by 12.5, and the over under is 46 on this. So the betting lines are essentially saying the Chiefs are going to win big and they're going to score all the points like the regular season game. Bill Barnwell had his whole pick through everything, and he thinks this is going to be a close game and the Chiefs are going to win by 4 points. I'm not sure that I can go to the 12.5, but I'm not seeing a reason not to at the same time. I really think that the way that this season has gone, we're going to see the manifestation of the most dialed in defensive plan that Spagnuolo can have. We're going to see an inspired offense. We're going to see everybody with their heads truly in the game. And I don't see any reason why they don't win this game by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going with the Chiefs to win and cover this.
Well, I'm definitely going with the Chiefs, but I will say I think you're going to see Andy Reid try to make a bye week out of this. I don't know if we're going to see the postseason spark that I have been waiting all year for. I do think there's been games when we see that offense not working. And back in my head, I'm thinking it's just because he's playing regular season play calling. This is going to be different in the postseason. I think he treats this game just like he treated the Denver game, which was way too close. I think we're going to see a very conservative effort from our offense. But, like that article, there's so many fumbles in that game from Pittsburgh. We can't count on that. So I do think, we win. I just think it's a little more close and a little more boring.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough, which will be a great way to stay up late on a Sunday night. All right. And then last game, this is the one that I think I'm kind of struggling with what word to use here. I don't know if I want to say that I'm intrigued. I don't want to know if I want to say that I'm truly looking forward to this Monday night game. Do I think it's going to be the most interesting? It's going to be something. I have no idea what we're in for in this situation, but we have the Cardinals who everybody was saying was the best team in the league for a handful of weeks at the beginning of the season, playing against the Rams, who pretty much everybody was saying was the best team in the league for a couple of weeks at the beginning of the season. And the Rams are hosting this game because they, won 12 games, similar to the Chiefs. So in a lot of ways we could pull some comparisons here, but the 12-5 Rams are hosting the 11-6 Cardinals. And interesting, the Rams are 5-3 at home and the Cardinals are 8-1 on the road. But so the Cardinals are 4-point underdogs. So the Rams are favored by 4 at SoFi Stadium, where the Super Bowl will be played in Inglewood. This is another one of those. I don't know that I want to be betting on this game. I mean, this is one that I think you'd have to put a gun against my head. And, this might be an interesting game. I forced to pick. I think the Rams win this game, and 4 points, they should probably cover that if they win it. I don't think they're going to win this game by 1. They're either going to win it by 7 or they're not. So that's where I'm at.
I do agree. I mean, like you said, this was the first month of the season. This was the NFC Championship game that we were supposed to be seeing.
Yeah.
And I just, I guess I wasn't giving DeAndre Hopkins enough credit, but
sure.
God damn, things look different.
James Conner, for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, this is so weird. I'm with you. I'm going Rams. The Cardinals got off track and they have stumbled their way through here and have been able to pick off some wins like against Dallas and whatnot. But I think Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp are a bigger threat than Tannehill and Derrick Henry.
Sure. All right. So just to recap this, we're picking chalk for next week. We think we're going to have 1, 4, 2, 3 for the AFC. We were fully in line with that. So that would have the Chiefs hosting the Bills. That would be a good game. I think it would be interesting to see the Chiefs go through, some of the teams that gave us the bad wins to get to a Super Bowl. I think that would be some great poetic justice. Yeah. So over on the NFC side, we're not giving the Eagles any chance to do anything. We both think the Rams are going to win. So really it comes down to whether or not San Fran pulls off the big upset, at which point they would be going to Green Bay. If not, we would have the Rams going to Green Bay and the Cowboys playing the Buccaneers, which I think this would be a really interesting situation. Picture the top 4 seeds winning in the NFC as well, and then the Cowboys pulling off that win against the Buccaneers. The Packers take care of business against the Rams. Can you picture Mike McCarthy going to Green Bay with an opportunity to win an NFC championship team? I mean, you would have the unstoppable force versus the immovable object right there. I mean, there's a whole joke with the Packers, the Wikipedia thing. The definition of the NFC championship game is an annual football match where somebody goes and beats the Packers. That's been their rap here as of recent. And Mike McCarthy, will mess up a wet dream. So that would be a really interesting way to determine who's going to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Man, I did not think about that scenario, but it is exactly. I didn't think about that storyline in the scenario, but it's exactly where this could end up.
Yeah. I mean, let's just think of the most wild dream. Let's just say the Raiders managed to win 2 games. I mean, can you picture an AFC championship game against the Raiders in Kansas City?
That would just be a dream come true.
You have Chiefs, Raiders, you have Chiefs, Raiders, and Packers versus Mike McCarthy. I mean, yeah, you couldn't write this stuff.
Yeah, not at all.
All right. Well, looking forward to the game. We'll be talking next week, and hopefully we're going to be picking some of these matchups that we are expecting. But until then, go Chiefs.
Chiefs.